Hello everyone, today I'm here with a book review of Soundless by Richelle Mead. Faye lives in a small village on top of a mountain that has no way up or down, so the only way that the people of the village are able to get resources and food is via this zip line that goes down to some unknown place at the bottom of the mountain. In exchange, the village sends down precious metals. But one thing about this village is that they have no sense of sound. Generations ago, their ancestors had begun to lose their hearing, and now in Faye's time, some of the people are starting to lose their sight. The mining production is reducing as a result, and this is leading to less and less resources being sent back up to them. The town is pretty much on the brink of starvation, everyone's struggling, and interestingly, Faye wakes up one morning and her hearing has returned. So Soundless has a pretty unique concept, and I was definitely intrigued by the synopsis before picking this one up, so I was really excited to dive into this book, but honestly, I was kind of disappointed. I don't think it really lived up to its full potential. In terms of the writing, I do really enjoy Richelle Mead's writing style. I have previously read Vampire Academy, absolutely love the series, and I really like the simplicity of the writing style. It flows really nicely and makes for an easy read. It just feels like you absolutely fly through the books. This one especially because it's only like 250 pages, so I whizzed through that in less than a day, but there were some points throughout the book where the writing felt a little bit stunted and didn't flow like the rest of it. One thing I really liked in particular though were the descriptions of sound. So obviously Faye has lived her entire life with no sense of hearing, and all of a sudden she's bombarded with sound left, right and center. Obviously it's going to be quite hard for her. I can't even begin to imagine what it would be like to gain an entirely new sense that you've never experienced before. It would be so mind-boggling, so confusing. So after she did kind of come to terms with the fact that she's now hearing things and the way that certain sounds were described, I thought this was done really well. I kind of wish that there was a little more in terms of description, however. Like I said, I enjoy her writing style, and particularly in the terms of description and what we saw in this book, I really liked, but there just wasn't enough of it. I really struggled with establishing images of every character. There was one side character in particular that I got quite a vivid mental image of, that she was described in a little more detail than the rest of them, but this was a really small side character. Apart from that, there was little to nothing in terms of descriptions about the other characters. In particular, our main characters. I would have liked to have gotten more of a visual sense about the main characters that we were following because they're the main characters. I also felt that there was a bit of a lack of development in terms of the characters. They were okay characters, but they didn't feel really anything special, and this kind of extends to the village and the world as well. Definitely wanted to see more world building in this. I didn't get a strong sense of place at all, which was a shame because this is supposed to be set in somewhere like China. It's in more of a parallel universe since it's supposed to be more fantasy. But being in a location with a really rich culture, there's so much room for description and world building, but there just wasn't any of it. This village could have been literally anywhere in the world. There was very little grounding it in a specific region or country. One thing I wanted to point out as well is that this is supposed to be a fantasy book, but I would have to disagree with this classification. It's more of a dystopian book. There's a really light sprinkling of fantasy in it towards the end, so I think marketing it as a fantasy was probably not a smart move because I had expectations going into this book and they kind of fell flat because of that. And this kind of relates to that fantasy element because it was only introduced right at the end of the book. I didn't really like how the book ended. I didn't like the resolution. I thought it was really convenient. It felt really out of place because the rest of the book didn't feel fantasy-esque and these elements show up all of a sudden. It felt kind of wrong and forced, I guess. It didn't really mesh with the rest of the story. If there had been a little more of the fantasy aspects sprinkled throughout the rest of the story, it probably would have worked a little better. So as you can probably guess, I wasn't a huge fan of this book. It's quite a short book, and honestly I think this would have greatly benefited from being 100 pages more. There was so much lacking in the characters and the world building. I'm just sad that there wasn't more to this story because I think this could have been a really good and interesting standalone story, but there wasn't enough of it there. So I ended up giving this one a 2 out of 5 stars, which is quite generous in my opinion. If you guys have read the book, I'd be very interested to know what you thought about it. I've heard people really hating it and also other people really enjoying it, so if you did like it, I'm really curious to know what it was that made it stand out for you. Anyway, that is all that I have for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!